hello. Here we are. Tuesday morning, ready to practice? Welcome, welcome. Just got done doing Tabata in the park, so I'm all jacked up on endorphins and too much coffee, so you guys are in for a fun flow today. Just remember, you know, it's always supposed to be fun, so keep that in mind as you move your body. There's all kinds of different ways to try the postures. There's all sorts of different types of modifications that you can make just by listening to what your body needs. Takes a little bit of practice to really learn how to hear what your body's asking you for, so tune into that. And if you feel like you're distracted or just a little frustrated at any point, usually the first thing that you need to do is remind yourself to breathe. That's generally where we lose our way, is that we lose our breath. So we'll begin our practice laying that foundation of a good steady breath, and then that's truly the goal, is to keep that breath coming all the way through. And let your poses, your postures, your movements just simply be an expression of that breath. So if your breath is smooth, if your breath is steady, then so are the asana, so are the poses, theoretically. Some days there's just a disconnect, and that's okay too. We all have a rough day on the mat every now and again, so do your best. Please don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up. It's yoga. It's supposed to be inspiring. It's supposed to be positive. So take from it what you need and leave behind what you don't need. We're going to get started off this morning in a child's pose. I've got a blanket nearby just to use for a couple things today. I've got a hamstring that's sort of tightened up on me pretty much. So I'm going to use this little prop a few times. If you need something like that, feel free to grab whatever you've got around. I can show you a few different ways to prop things up. Otherwise, you don't need anything else except your mat and your body. So come on into a comfortable child's pose and meet me there. I'm going to swing that little blanket around and just tuck it in between my calves and my thighs so that I've got some support. There we go. And then stretch the arms out in front, or however you're comfortable. You can stack up your forearms. Some people like to just let their arms come back alongside the body, shoulders slump. You pick the place that works for you, and then start with a deep breath in. Fill up completely. Exhale it all out. Do that 4 or 5 times. Exaggerate your breath in. Exhale completely. One more slow, deep breath here. And eventually you're just going to let a little bit more of a natural breath pattern start to take over, smooth and steady, in and out. Try to erase any spaces between your breaths so that it just simply flows endlessly. And it might help you to think about your breath moving in a circle. The inhale is the top arc, so you bring that breath all the way around the top of the circle. The exhale around the bottom. Inhale is the beginning of the exhale. End of the exhale is just the start of a new breath in. Round and round it goes, just like that. So focus on that circular image for a little while. Starting to clear some space in your mind. And notice as you slow the body, slow the breath, slow the brain, that you can really begin to notice what it feels like to consciously relax, to really make an effort to let go. Let the tension out of your face, your neck, spine. Let your arms and legs just feel heavy, loose. Stay pretty much where you're at, but on your next inhale, you're just gonna lift your chest up a little bit. You're gonna take one arm and scoop it underneath of you, so that elbow right underneath your heart center. Do the same thing on the other side. Cross at the elbows there. Get them wiggled in all the way under your chest. Palms can turn up or flip down. And then lift your hips up off your heels and shift your weight forward until it feels like you're just laying on your arms. Opening up the space in your mid-back, right between your shoulder blades. You can rock your forehead gently here. Some folks really like to do this posture like lying on their belly, and if you really wanted to, you could slide your legs out long behind you right now, but it's certainly not necessary. It's kind of tricky to get in and out of, so let's stay in this kneeling position just for another deep breath or two. Rock back a little, take some pressure off your arms, just long enough. You're gonna pull the one closest to you out, swing it in front. Readjust, elbows cinch up underneath your heart center, and then lift up your hips again and lay on your arms. One of the best way to get at the back side of your shoulders, around into that subscapula zone, up underneath your shoulder blades. Slowly release. Rock back a little bit, get some pressure out of your arms so that you can comfortably untangle. And then come on up. Rock your weight forward. And just notice that warm feeling in the shoulders. You've got some sort of fresh blood moving through there. It might feel really good to alternate one side, make some big shoulder circles, and do the other. And eventually, we'll find hands and knees, tuck the toes, and you go right up and back into your first downward facing dog today. Stretch that out for a moment or two, taking time for all your favorite down dog warm-ups, working through the ankles, the knees, the hips, swivel the heels, shake out the head. Just get yourself loosened up a tad. And then when you're ready, we'll take a slow walk forward all the way to the top of the mat. Feet are gonna step out as wide as your hips, or maybe just a little wider. And think about your frontal hip bones here, not these outside hips, but really this is the measure of your hip is from hip bone to hip bone there. And then right into Padahastasana. Step into your own hands here. So pick up your toes, slide the palms of your hands underneath your feet. Try to get your toes all the way up to the crease of your wrist, and then just bend at your elbows, bend at your knees, round out your upper back. Think about making your spine feel a little bit longer here. Crown of the head drops. Gaze back through your legs. Try not to look down at the ground. Just look back so that your neck can fully release. Slowly exhale, let it go. Step out of the palms of your hands, swing your toes and heels together to touch. As you zip your legs up, roll and stack your way through your body. Nice and slow. Take all the time you need here as you gently roll up. Good. And then at the top of the mat, let's find Samastitihi, palms to press at your heart. Close your eyes, root down through your toes, lift up through the crown of your head. Draw your heart center up another inch to touch your thumbs, and make some space between your shoulders and your ears. All right, and when you're ready, let the eyes flutter back open. Let's start with a few warm-up salutes. Arms up and over, inhale. Surya Namaskara. Exhale, fold. Take it back down, Uttanasana. Inhale, half lift and lengthen. We're gonna jazz it up a little bit here. Listen close. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, Utkatasana. Knees bend, arms reach up. Big breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen and lift one more time. Come up on your, or off your heels, pardon, to your tippy toes, and exhale, crouch and curl. Push your knees, your thighs into your belly, tuck your forehead towards your kneecaps. 2 flat hands on the ground if you can, and stretch your back some more right there. Inhale, lift your gaze. Step, walk, hop, or float back to Chaturanga. Pull through, up dog or cobra. Remember, cobra pose down a little bit lower, a little bit more of a spine strengthener. Don't be afraid to take that one whenever you need. And then up and back to down dog. To modify, just use your knees like that. Tuck your toes and your back in down dog. Full breath in. shoulders and your hips and swing your right leg through. Pause once your foot hits the mat and just let your hips dip into a little lunge there for a moment. And then finish that step to the top of the mat. Good. Feet end up side by side and exhale, fold. Grab your ankles, give a little bit deeper squeeze here. Up to the top, here we go. Reverse and rise, bring it up. Scoot back a tad. And right back down. So we get 3 movements here. Half lift. First one, exhale, fold. Again, inhale. This time, Uttanasana. Bring it up. Fierce pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen again. Crouch and curl. Exhale, squeeze the breath out of your belly. Lift the gaze. Step, walk, or hop back to Chaturanga, however you want to do it. Always that option to use your knees. Lower halfway or all the way. Cobra or up dog, Urdhva Mukha. Back to downward facing dog. Full breath out. Lift the left leg up on your next inhale. Take a moment to open the hip and the knee. Turn your gaze and your torso slightly to the left as well. And stay right there for 3. Moving the left leg around a little bit. 2. One more inhale. Square off and swing through on the exhalation, low lunge. Drop the hips. Find a little bit juicier lunge there. I haven't said juicy in a long time. It got a little too much play there for a while. I had to get away from every yoga class I went to for about 1.5 years with juicy. I was kind of sick of it, but this is a little bit juicy stretch. At least it feels that way to me today. All right, we're gonna get even further into the hips eventually, but for now, feet side by side. We'll take that through one more time on each side. Now just flow with the breath. All the way up to the top. You can make a little back bend. Go right back down to the bottom on your exhale. First half lift, Ardha Uttanasana. You just take a forward fold. Inhale again, knees bend. This time you bring the chest up. Sit back deeply, Uttanasana. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, lengthen. Lift the heels, exhale, crouch and curl. Gaze out. Now if you really want to get into it this morning, you can start making a little setup for crow pose there. Pick your feet up, shoot them back if you want to. These are just options. Remember that nothing is mandatory other than the breath. Find your downward facing dog and lift your right leg up nice and high. Bend that knee, open it up for a moment. Look underneath your right arm. Take your right knee under your body and touch it to your left elbow. Swing it back up, inhale, hold, bend the knee, open the hip, look underneath the right arm. Good, underneath the body swing, we're gonna do it 3 times. Tap, inhale all the way up and open the hip. And one last time. Underneath, tap to the left. Listen close. Bring it to the middle, and without kicking back, can you put your foot into that lunge? Minus the grunting, maybe. If not, it's okay. You can swing it back up and use a little momentum. Find that deep lunge here. Good. Arms can come up if you're ready for that. Otherwise, keep your hands on the ground. You can do this with your back knee down as well. Makes no difference. A little bit bigger inhale. Start going further into the hips. Make sure your low belly muscles, Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, engage. And then release the hands and step to the top. Take it through with me one more time. Left side will lead. Up on the inhale. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Fold again. Inhale, Uttanasana, fierce pose. Reach the arms up, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Sides of the body stay nice and long. Exhale, fold. One more time, lengthen out. Crouch and curl, get low. Press into the palms, or knees go right there on the back of your arms, like you're trying to put your kneecaps in your armpits. Build a little shelf out of your forearms and see if maybe the feet lift a little, maybe a lot. Maybe you can move through. From there, however you get to downward facing dog, when you arrive, let's get that left leg up and open. Hang out for a breath. Look underneath your left arm. Left knee to the right elbow, please. Cross. Little bit of core work. Take it back up. Inhale. Stay on the exhale. Deep breath in. Swing it through and tap on the breath out. One more time. Up. Exhale, open. Inhale, prepare. Swing underneath, right elbow. Tap. Good. To the middle, right underneath your chest. Breathe in. Exhale your foot between your hands. Nice. There's your lunge. High or low, you decide what's right for you. Anjaneyasana, always that option to go down on the back knee. Nothing wrong with that. Actually makes the stretch feel a little bit deeper for most people. Hands down. Finish your step to the top of your mat. Feet are side by side and we'll hold and fold. You stay upside down for a moment or two. Start working those feet back out to about hip width distance. First two fingers and thumbs around the big toes this time. Parangusthasana. A parangushta is your big toe. The word literally means pada. That's the word that means foot, pada. And it's quick, pada. If we say pada, long A's, that's the word that means book. Like all the different padas that are in the Ramayana, all the different books, right? So pada, quick A sound is foot. Angushta is the word that means thumb in Sanskrit. So a pada angushta or parangushta, when you smush them together, is the word that means foot thumb, or basically the thumb of your foot is your big toe, right? So this pose's nickname is called big toes pose. You're gonna soften the elbows, keep holding those toes. Thumbs touch your fingertips, not the ground. Make an actual mudra around your big toes and just hold that. Elbows soft, that feel like you're coaxing your shoulder blades apart. We're gonna have a little bit of fun with this posture today. We'll just hold the fold for 3, 2, right, and then start leaning all your weight to the right. Notice I'm just gonna lean, 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 lean. At a certain point, I'm gonna see if I can pick up my left foot. If it's just an inch off the ground, maybe a centimeter, no problem. Some of you might be able to pick that foot all the way up and open to about hip level. Wherever you're at, keep breathing, that's what's most important. Keep your gaze down at that front edge of your mat and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set your foot down, doesn't matter which one you did, do the other one here in a moment. Weight shifts, pick it up. You're gonna notice you got one side where you're probably much stronger than the other. Use your low belly muscles, pardon me. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, set it down, shake out your hands a little bit, let go of your toes. Swing your feet back together again. Half lift and lengthen. Knees bend, Uttanasana, arms come up. Stay with me right here. Let's draw the palms together. Into heart center, we'll get a good twist. Easiest way to do this is actually just to put your elbow between your knees. There's a good spot for it to hook right there. Otherwise, a little bit deeper would be to the outside of that right knee. Don't be afraid to help that elbow get into position. Watch the knees. Left one's gonna wanna slide in front of the right, so keep them side by side. And then move your heart center around to the right, like you're trying to bring your heart to your thumbs. Keep breathing. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, exhale, take it to a forward fold. Half lift one more time. Change coming right here. We're gonna pick up the left foot and step it back to a lunge. Get the sturdy part of the posture first. Make sure your feet are rooted, your legs are strong, and then pull it up, high lunge. You know you've got the option to keep it low, right? So I'm gonna trust that you do what's right for you, and then we're gonna sweep the arms back, lean forward. Finding a little bit more length in the spine, pulling the shoulder blades together. Legs are warm, right? Should be warm by now. 2, 1. Meet me in reverse warrior. You're gonna put your back heel down, wind all the way up and around. Right arm comes over the top. Take a look at your back foot. Just keep your gaze down and back. That'll encourage you to reach a little further, and then keep bending. Don't lose all the strength of that front leg. Stay in there nice and low. Legs are in a deep lunge position still. 3, 2, 1. We're going to exhale forward, side angle pose. You can catch the elbow on the thigh, or you can reach your fingertips down and go further. I'm going to give you 2 of these rotations, and on the third one, we're going to go for half moon. So what do I mean? I mean inhale, up and back, reverse. Exhale. There we go. There's the second time through. Side angle pose. One more time, bring it up and back. Whew. Right side body. Nice big stretch on this one. Half moon. Should actually feel pretty good to straighten out your right leg for a moment there. Keep breathing. 3. Ardha Chandrasana. If half moon is a new pose for you, you've got your hips open to the side. Left leg is floating up behind you as high as you can comfortably lift it, and you're working to stack your shoulders and your hips. Deep breath in. 2, 1. Take a look down. Hands on the ground. Told you this was going to be kind of a fun, challenging practice today, right? We're going to curtsy squat 3 times, and on that third one, we'll sit down. What does that mean? It means tap your left knee as low down on your right calf as you can, and kick right back up behind you. Again, curtsy squat, down low. Kick it right back up. Good. Take it down one more time. Get low, get low, get low, and then just keep on going and sit all the way down. You're going to end up with your right leg over the top. Left knee is underneath. Both sits bones rock their way onto the mat. And then make a twist. Hook your elbow around. Or you can just hug your knee like I am. Some people can make a bind through their legs here and bring this arm around. If that's part of your practice, you can work into that bind here. Just make sure your shoulders are feeling up for it. And then exhale, start to move your gaze around behind you. Couple of deep breaths. 4. This is Ardha Chandrasana, half Lord of the Fishes pose is the name of this twist. 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. Unwind. Quick little counter twist to the other side, just because that always feels so good. And then square off to the front here. You're gonna just reach your hands behind you and set them down so you can lean back. There you go. Into the palms of your hands, nice and flat on the ground. Watch what's going to happen with the legs. I'm just going to lift them up and slide that left foot to the ground. That gives me figure 4, and I may need to readjust my right ankle position. And then you can walk your hands in, or you can pick your hips up and literally take a few steps forward and set those hips back down and start to rock them side to side. First time here, we're going to loosen up. Told you we were going to get back into those hips a little bit deeper. I never really know what the hell we're going to do before we get on the mat. It just kind of comes to me as we get moving, but usually I can kind of see the landscape, and then we just meander through the practice, right? Most of the time we get where we want to go. Keep rocking side to side a couple more times. Just rolling over those tight hamstring insertion spots. You can feel it. Bony notch right in the center of your butt cheek on each side. You can start getting at the piriformis there as well, which is really pretty deep. Tough spot to get at. One more each way. Yeah, don't rush it. This is meant to be hurt so good material, right? It's a little bit agonizing, but it really does feel good to do. And then bring it back to center. Let your bottom leg slide all the way out. Take this right foot, pull it back into position for Janu Shavasana. Right knee is open. This looks like a seated tree pose. And then come out for that left foot and lengthen. Good. Keep the right knee back. You should be able to feel right here, just the highest part of your right glute and then the lowest part of your lumbar spine on the right side. That's what we want to lengthen. I think about putting my belly button over my left thigh, and that reminds me that there's a little bit of a twist here as well. Just the taste of a twist. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, slowly come on up. You can either just tuck this left shin right in front, or you can pick it up and try to stack it on top. Agni Stomping, fire logs pose. Exactly what we're doing with the legs, stacking them up like 2 pieces of firewood. And then a little lean forward if you need it. I don't need it. I'm really pretty tight-hipped person most of the time. And you know, this isn't about me, it's about you. I'm just giving you an example. So in my body, if I were to go leaning forward here, I would probably yelp a little bit. I don't need much more. So I'm gonna just stay put. If you really bendy, open-hipped person, walk your hands out here, do whatever you need to do. Otherwise, just sit with it and breathe. Think about drawing the navel in, keep a little length in the spine. 4, you can always just turn your palms up, kind of gather in a little extra energy to get you through. 3, 2, 1. Okay, eyes open. And release your legs, untangle, and then just bring your knees into your chest. Set your feet down. This posture is called Stomping. You heard that word a moment ago, right? When we said Agni Stomping. A stump actually means like a stump or a log, right? But this pose is called tree stump pose. So just like a little tree stump, you try to hold on to your elbows, and then you push your feet down and you lengthen up through your spine. It feels really good. And you can stretch the sides of your neck here pretty well, especially if you drop one ear. Okay, let's try to remember how the hell we started all that and do the other side. So, couple rocks through, let's get a vinyasa, maybe 1, 2, third time you rock up, take it all the way through to chaturanga, up dog or cobra, and back to downward facing dog. Deep breath out. Gaze forward, step, walk, or hop to the top of your mat and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Let's go up to stand for a moment. Little baby back bend at the top. And fold back down. Knees bend. Inhale, arms come up. Meet me right there. And then we'll twist to the other side. Drop the hips down. Watch that sneaky right knee. Don't let it out in front. Keep rotating. Trying to get your heart center a little closer to your thumbs. Parivrita Uttanasana. Revolved fierce posture. Sometimes nicknamed prayer twist pose. Just because of the shape. 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release. It's just important to know that a lot of these postures have English nicknames, right? And that the Sanskrit often doesn't mean what we say at all. I just don't want the meaning of the words to be lost over time, right? So that's why I always give you the background. Half lift with me right here. Good, you're gonna pick up your right foot this time, and you're gonna slowly step it all the way back to find a lunge. Get the bottom half of the pose sorted out first. Good, strong, anchored back through that right heel. Then you bring it up, a little bit deeper into the hips. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Lifting and locking through the core. Arms come up, take a deep breath. Remember, you can modify that lunge if you need to. Sweep the hands back. Hold with me here. Like an arrow shooting through the sky. Get really long and strong. 3, 2, we're going all the way to reverse warrior. Start with your back heel. Set that down first. Then unwind, open it up to the side, come back deeply into your left thigh, and then reach up and over. Gaze to the back foot. Keep pulling, low belly muscles in. Stay strong. 3, 2, 1. Side angle pose. Ardha. Elbow can rest on the thigh, otherwise fingertips are reaching down. Right side body gets really long. Okay, a couple more times. That was 1. Inhale, you go up. Exhale, come right back down. 2, third time here, we're going up. Inhale. Oh God, hang on to it. Exhale, side angle would be the modification if you really don't want half moon, but otherwise, make your best attempt. Come off your back foot, set it up. Take a look down. See? Ooh, my toes were a little bit turned in there, right? So I was kind of destined to lose that pose, and that's okay. Now I've got an opportunity to set it up from the start. Make sure all 5 of my left toes are pointing forward. There we go. And then I can just slowly start opening up that right side. If it helps to take your right hand to your hip bone and kind of peel your own hips open, try that out. Right arm goes up. Gaze can stay down. You can move your gaze to the side, or you can move it up to your top hand, which is perhaps the most challenging. Breathe. 3, take a little bit of weight out of that bottom hand if you can. And 1. Now look down, both hands on the ground. Let your hips square for a moment, just meaning drop that right leg down a little bit. Good. 3 curtsy squats. Sneak it behind, tap low. 1. Inhale, kick back up. Look back through your right toes. Exhale, get down low again. 2. Kick it up. Last one. Swing low, tap. And then just keep sitting on down. And readjust a little if you need to. Again, we want to try to get the hips grounded, sits bones on the ground. Work into your twist with a hug or a hook of the knee. Binders can go through the legs and make that bind by reaching across your low back with your left hand. Inhale, in any variation, the most important part is that you lengthen on the in-breath and you twist on the out-breath. That's all you really have to do. Everything else is just for fun. Exhale. Three, 4, and 5. Unwind, take it around the other way. Little counter twist there. And then as you sit up, you can put your hands behind you. Remember, you to rock back there and swing that right foot to the ground. Readjust your left ankle position if you need to. Walk your hands in. Maybe lift your hips and walk your whole body in a little bit. Set them back down, just depending on how much intensity you want to feel. And then, again, we're right back here rocking. And this is what's called hip compression. And so when you rock, especially to the left side there should be a pretty tight, tough spot. 99% of us are going to feel that one. And the slower you go, you know there's more to feel, right? So nice and easy, a few more times back and forth. It's really a pretty important thing that we oftentimes as American practitioners of yoga, we miss how the subtleties of the practice are the best part, right? Because we're always just wanting more. What comes next? What happens next? What can I conquer next, right? And often we really don't even begin to spend enough time with a posture to really know it, and to really know how it feels in our body. Good. Okay. From here, we're going to release a little bit. Make sure you've got enough room to just let that bottom leg come back out. Pick up your left foot, put it on the inside of your right thigh. And then adjust a little bit so that you can slightly turn your torso to the right. Keep the left knee back there in space, looking for that big stretch again. Lower left side of your back and top of your glute and fold. I mean, any yoga is good yoga, right? So don't get me wrong, but I think a lot of people's first taste of yoga is going to a health club. And I taught at a Lifetime Fitness for 6 years, so believe me, I know about this stuff. And oftentimes, you know, they probably end up walking into a class that's maybe not quite appropriate for a beginner, or you go to a core power, or you go somewhere where there's a lot of cueing for these big postures, or even just cueing like, okay, now add the bind, now add this, now add that. And so it generally just, without meaning to, leads people to skip over a lot of material just because they don't know any better and they think that what the teacher's asking them to do is put themselves into this particular shape no matter what. Especially when you're new to yoga, right? Because you're nervous and you don't know what's going on and you don't want to look like you're failing, and often it takes a long time before you find a teacher that tells you like, hey man, that's all just circus tricks and bullshit. The real good stuff is in the quiet moments of the practice, in the soft moments of the practice. And all that other stuff, that'll come in time or it won't, but it doesn't matter at all. It's just frivolous extras, right? Tuck your front shin in front of the back one or stack it up. See, that's just a suggestion. If this doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. Do this instead. Still going to get all the same benefits of the pose. Walking forward a little bit if you need it, or just working on sitting up. Here's another spot where I can use my little blanket. I haven't had to use it as much as I thought because my leg actually feels better now than it did earlier. But still, to be cautious, I'm going to just tuck it right in there to help me bridge this gap so that I can encourage these deeper outer rotators, a little bit of that hamstring and IT band, which has really been a tight spot, to relax. Without the prop, I'm tempted to engage my muscles, right, and hold so that my leg doesn't fall any further because that doesn't feel great. So with a little propping, I can let all that go, and then I can really just focus on lengthening the spine, letting the hips relax, taking some big breaths. Okay. I'll give this another breath or two. So really just one time through that flow today. Once is probably enough though. Someday when we get back to doing live in-person classes, or hopefully in July I can start teaching some of these morning classes live as well, then we can have 75 minutes or so. We could get another flow in there, but for now we'll call it good. Untangle your legs, bring them in for a squeeze, or you can try this kind of Stomping stretch again, really good for your spine. If you ever have a few moments to spare, do this pose on the wall. You just lay on your back and you put your feet against the wall, and then you wiggle your butt up as close to the baseboard as possible, and you just stay like this for about 5 minutes and release, and you'll feel like a whole new person, I promise. But for today, give it one more breath, and then a couple times rocking through the spine. 2, and then a big challenge here. Let's get maybe 1 or 2 more rocks for momentum. You're gonna try to rock yourself to your feet. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but give it a shot, all right? What do I mean? I mean rock back, and then try to get your butt up off the ground. Land on your feet and open them out about hip-width distance, forward fold. You can help yourself to your feet any old way you want to. I know you were thinking, boy, I hope we do that really hard thing where we hold onto our toes at least once more today. Well, your wish is granted. Let's try it one more time. Take your fingers around your big toes. First 2 fingers to the thumbs. Widen those feet out a little bit. Shift your weight to one side, doesn't matter which side. Low belly muscles lift, and try to pull that baby out to the side as far as you can. 2, 1, set it down. Shift the other way. Notice if there's some imbalances, and that's okay. Just do your best. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Let it go. Take those feet out one more time, just a little bit wider. Turn your toes out. Bring your heels in and come into one final squat. Notice how much better this pose feels to do after you've done a bunch of hip work, right? I'm gonna use my little blanket here to just put back and sit down on a tad. Again, so that I can talk my hamstrings, especially these deep inner flexor groins, into just relaxing for me, instead of feeling like they have a job to do. And if you've got something nearby that you can slide underneath your tailbone and sit down, I highly recommend it. And work on lengthening up through the crown of your head. This is your final big stretch. We're gonna go onto our backs for some optional inversions and Shavasana here coming up in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Use those low belly muscles here to lift up out of that. Take it into your final stretch fold. Slide out anything that you have behind you. Wiggle those feet in, and here's your last vinyasa of the day. Half lift and lengthen. Plant your hands, step, hop, walk, or you can take it, crouch and curl through crow, and back one last time. Extra breath in that up dog if it feels good. Down dog or child's pose, either one on the breath out. Then you can step, hop, jump through, or just swing yourself around onto your back. And as you lower down here, if you don't want to go upside down today, that's absolutely fine. Just lay on your back and put your legs up in the air for a moment. Legs up the wall. Viparita Karani. If you do want to go upside down, roll your feet back. Take a little time in plow. Hands can come to your low back, or you can go up for some breaths in shoulder stand. I'm going to leave that up to you. This laying on my back feels better to me today, so that's where I'm going to stay, but you get a little time there to do your thing. If you're with me on your back, you just try not to work your legs. Let them feel like they're just dangling up there in space. All of your spine is flat on the mat from the nape of your neck to your tailbone. Make sure that that's a true statement. And we'll breathe for another 5. Shoulder stands, if you've got some fancy shoulder stand variations you want to do, anything with your legs, you can splits or straddle or put the bottoms of your feet together, or wrap your legs into lotus, whatever you'd like. 3, 2, and 1. If you're upside down completely, take your time. Eventually, slowly, you'll meet us. Do anything you want on your way down into your back. And when you get there, we're going to bend the knees and then take the knees wide apart and just hold on softly around your knees or your shins. This is called modified happy baby. Instead of holding the feet, is holding your shins, and then rock gently. If you really want that full happy baby, of course, kick your feet up in the air. I almost always include a happy baby in every pose just because this posture is designed to make you feel blissful. That is what Ananda, the first part of the Sanskrit, means. Ananda, blissful, Balasana, is the part of the word that means baby or child, but again, that's just a translation that's been lost over the years. Bala means strong. It doesn't mean child at all. It's just that when we do Balasana, child's pose, you know, when we're upright on our knees, it just gets the nickname child's pose because kids do that all the time, right? So this posture right here on your back, Ananda Balasana, actually means blissfully strong or rooted in bliss. And boy, does it feel that way sometimes. It's just something about it makes you feel like a kid again, right? All right. Draw the knees in. If you feel like you need a little spinal twist here or anything else, do it. If you don't, then you get a couple extra moments in Shavasana, my friend, and that's all that's left to do now is just get your body completely relaxed. Untuck your shoulder blades. Sometimes it even feels really good to kind of untuck your glutes, if you know what I mean. Just reach under and pull your buns out to the side a little bit so that your back is really flat on the mat. If you think you'd be more comfortable with your knees bent, your knees open, or resting on your side or your belly, those are all good Shavasana options as well. And then close your eyes. Take one final deep breath in. Exhale it out your mouth. And fully relax. Okay, you guys stay right there. As always, enjoy your Shavasana for as long as you would like. That's it for today. I'll see you back tomorrow morning for 10 a.m. In the meantime, enjoy your day. Take care of yourself. Namaste.